And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
What happens when the league's biggest rising star becomes its biggest target? Caitlin Clark didn't just bring fans to the WNBA. She brought a spotlight so bright, it's blinding. And in that spotlight, something ugly started to show. Elbows, cheap shots, cold shoulders, silence. But then, Sophie Cunningham stepped up and said what everyone else was too scared to say. Let's talk about it. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA. She crashed the gates with a spotlight so massive, it dragged the entire league into primetime. We're talking sold-out arenas in cities that used to draw crickets. Jersey sales? Off the charts. TV ratings? Shattering records every other week. Her rookie card sold for over $10,000, more than legends who've been in the league for a decade. But with all that fame came friction. Because, let's be real, not everyone wearing a WNBA jersey is cheering for Caitlin Clark. There's tension, jealousy, maybe even resentment. While she's becoming a household name, some players feel like the blood, sweat, and years they put in are being overshadowed overnight. Fans have seen it. The body language, the hard fouls, the deafening silence when she gets rocked and nobody comes to her defense. And now, someone inside the league finally said what fans have been screaming for months. Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back. On a podcast that was supposed to be about growth and positivity, she pulled no punches. And what she said? It lit up the internet like a playoff buzzer beater. Let's get into the moment that flipped the script. On the Show Me Something podcast, Sophie Cunningham dropped a bomb. She openly admitted that players were literally game planning to rough Caitlin Clark up, not just defend her hard, not just contest shots, physically send a message. Here's what she said, word for word. We were like, hey, bump her, be physical with her, hit her, get in her head, because guess what? She's a rookie. That's not just defense. That's a locker room strategy to break someone mentally. Now let's pause here. In sports, sure, rookies take hits. It's part of earning respect. Even in the NBA, LeBron got shoved, Curry got bodied, Luka got chirped. But there's a difference between testing a rookie and trying to humiliate one. With Caitlin, it started to feel personal. Every screen turned into a shoulder check. Every drive became an excuse to accidentally drop an elbow. And when she got leveled, the bench stayed silent. No help, no empathy. That's not basketball anymore. That's a message. You don't belong here yet, not until we say so. And Sophie just confirmed that message was coming straight from inside the locker room. Let's talk about the numbers, the ones the league doesn't post on Instagram. Did you know that 1 in every 5 flagrant fouls called this season was against Caitlin Clark? That's not just wild, that's historic. She's a rookie, not a 10-year veteran with grudges piled up. Now add this. Caitlin Clark, who never missed a single game in college, has already missed 14 games in her first WNBA season due to injury. And no, we're not just talking about sore ankles. We're talking concussions, hard fouls, blindside hits, hits that don't happen by accident when the scouting report literally says, hit her, bump her, get in her head. This wasn't a rough stretch. This was a coordinated campaign. And it came at a cost. She missed the Commissioner's Cup, a showcase that could have been another ratings boom. She missed the All-Star game in her hometown, the ultimate welcome moment for the face of the league. And the worst part? No one seemed surprised. Almost like this was the plan all along. But here's the thing. It wasn't just Caitlin who paid the price. Because when the league lets this happen to its brightest star, everybody loses. Fourth quarter. The Fever are taking hits, Caitlin's getting bullied, and the refs? Silent. Then Sophie Cunningham, a gritty vet with nothing to lose, lays out a hard foul in response. Not dirty, just a statement. Not today. And just like that, Sophie went viral. TikTok lit up, fans went crazy. Protect Caitlin started trending. Her jersey sold out within hours. Clips of her saying, we're not going to let her keep getting beat up, racked up millions of views. Finally, someone inside the WNBA said what fans had been screaming. Y'all are letting this happen. But then came the league's response. Not to the foulers. Not to the refs who swallowed whistles for weeks. Not to the cheap shots. Sophie got fined $500. For what? A TikTok where she called out the officials, not for profanity, not for violence, for telling the truth. That's the reality. The WNBA profits off Caitlin Clark, her name, her image, her star power. But the second someone steps up to defend her, they get punished. So let's be clear. If the league wants to build around Clark, they better start protecting her, or they'll keep losing the very voices that are trying to save it. The WNBA doesn't just have a Caitlin Clark problem, it has a referee crisis. Night after night, fans watch in disbelief as stars get hacked, shoved, tripped, and nothing. No whistle, no protection, no accountability. Just blank stares from officials and a league pretending it's all fine. But it's not just about Caitlin anymore. Sophie Cunningham, the one who finally stood up, started getting it too. Hard screens, cheap elbows, blatant body checks, and the refs still silent. She even said it herself. I don't have a leash. I have a collar with a hand on it. Let that sink in. This isn't just about bad calls. It's about power, control, and retaliation. Because after she dared to defend the league's golden ticket, Sophie became a target. The message? Sit down. Shut up. Let it happen. But the fans aren't blind anymore. One TikTok, just one, of Sophie's on-court retaliation and post-game truth bomb, 1.3 million views. It was raw, and it exposed everything. The refs aren't just inconsistent, they're part of the story now. And the longer the league lets it slide, the more fans start wondering, is this incompetence or a cover-up? Because if this is how the W treats the players who protect the product, what does that say about the league itself? So why is Sophie Cunningham, a vet with years in the game, suddenly willing to take all this heat? Why risk fines, backlash, and even her own minutes on the floor? Because Sophie's not just defending Caitlin Clark. She's defending the future of the WNBA. Let's be real. Caitlin isn't just another rookie. She's the reason this league has sold out arenas in cities that barely filled seats last year. She's why TV networks are finally cutting real checks. She's why little girls are wearing W jerseys again, and little boys are too. And Sophie knows something the league doesn't seem to grasp. Without Clark, the wave crashes. This isn't about friendship or Midwestern loyalty. It's strategy. It's survival. Because when your league finally has a megastar who can change everything, who already changed everything, you protect her. You build around her. You don't let her get beat down game after game while you look the other way. Sophie stepped up because she's been in the W long enough to know what's at stake. She's seen stars come and go. But this is different. And if the league can't or won't recognize that, then maybe it's on the players to save it themselves. Because loyalty is great. But Sophie's playing chess. And in her eyes, Caitlin Clark is the queen. You don't leave your queen unprotected. Not if you want to win. Here's the question hanging over the entire league right now. Can the WNBA afford to keep silent? Because every time a hard foul gets ignored, every time a ref swallows the whistle while Clark gets decked in midair, every time a player like Sophie gets punished for protecting the league's biggest draw, it chips away at the future. Fans aren't blind. They see the double standards, the inconsistency, the silence from the top. So what's next? Will the refs finally be held accountable? Will the league lay down a real standard for protecting its stars? Or are we going to keep pretending this is just rookie hazing while ticket sales soar and Caitlin Clark sits on the bench in a hoodie? And what about the players? Will more of them speak out like Sophie? Or will they stay quiet, afraid of the fines, the blowback, the politics? Here's the truth. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark anymore. It's about how a league treats its stars and the people who try to protect them. So, if you agree with Sophie Cunningham, if you think the WNBA needs to step up, if you believe it's time to protect Caitlin Clark, drop it in the comments. Protect Caitlin Clark. Let's make sure the league hears it loud and clear.